What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Thrive Thursday. I hope you have been thriving today and this week. You know, I wanted to jump back into the story that I was sharing about my whole cancer journey. So let's do that now. The last you heard, or the last I shared, was that a specialist said to me regarding the spot that they saw in my lung on the CT scan, you know, I really don't think this is anything to worry about. That's what they said. So let's jump back into the story and see how true that statement actually was. See you on the other side. Like, everything looks clear. It's like you got something in your lung. I think it's like an old infection where you sick. He was like, I want you to see a pulmonary specialist. I'm not worried about this at all. Fast forward. COVID, I'm going to these doctors alone. The doctors are like, I'm not worried. The doctors are like, take some antibiotics, come back. The doctor is like, now I'm worried. Might be a metastatic event. It was. 6 months into being a father. Best year of my life it started off as, worst year of my life, halfway through. That was devastating. I spent a lot of time trying to process some stuff. The fear of would my child ever know me? Like the fear of like, well, when do kids start to have memories? Like 4, 5? Yeah, that was rough. So, and at this point they were like, you need to see an oncologist. So I go to see an oncologist at Cedars. Great doctor. He hits me with an option to fight it, and he's like, I encourage you to get a second opinion, which I did do, and they hit me with another option, and it was like one was a little bit more aggressive than the other. I decided to go with the more aggressive approach, and it would be me taking a pill twice a day and doing immunotherapy every 4 weeks. A couple of things that you should know that I don't discuss. I don't discuss my prognosis because they don't know. They know statistically what it looks like, but there's one person that knows how long I'm going to be here, and I don't want information in my head that I will use against myself. So I don't know about a prognosis, and I also don't talk about stages or anything like that. I am essentially looking at it as like a metastatic disease. A friend of mine helped me understand that, Karen Pittman. God bless you. I also do not have any disease. No disease belongs to me. It is not a part of me. My body is fighting cancer, and it is whooping cancer's ass. 3 months after I started my protocol, my scans were completely clear. Again, whatever they saw in my lung, gone. And has not returned, and I've been clear ever since. But now I want to talk to you about how 2022, 21 punched me in my face. So as bad as 2020 was for a lot of people, I was really looking forward to 2021. I thought 2021 was going to be like another whew. And in some ways it was. I have to remind myself that today, I've only been aware that my body was fighting cancer, like actively. I've only had that experience for 3 months. So from October of 2020 to January of 2021. That was the only time that I was like, oh, they're telling me that there's cancer in my body and we have to fight it. Prior to that, with the kidney, didn't know what it was. They suspected, didn't know what it was. So we start fighting it. And in January, my first scan 3 months after I started, they were like, nothing, we don't see anything. You know, I've been trying to like will myself to not experience any side effects. And I remember opening an oven on Christmas Eve and my chest like started to itch. Christmas, fine. No issues on Christmas. Christmas Eve, my chest started to itch when I opened up the oven. And that itching progressed. And it progressed. And those who know me know that I then spent the entire next year and a half in more excruciating pain than I think anyone should ever have to endure. And it is because the immunotherapy, which works in everybody's bodies differently, for me, it destroyed the cancer cells, and it also shut off my ability to sweat. I was no longer able to sweat. And anytime my nervous system was triggered in any way, I experienced a pain that is akin to, I've never had this happen to me, but I can now imagine what it would feel like to have someone douse you in gasoline and throw a match at me. That's what I endured every day, multiple times a day. Anytime I got hot or exerted myself, or even like if Caleb fell and I was like anything that triggered my nervous system caused this very violent reaction. And I almost didn't make it through 2021. It was awful. It was awful for me to experience. It was awful for my family to experience. Everyone was helpless. It was like a 90-second, to 3-minute ordeal every time it was triggered. And it left me wrecked. I was not able to take care of my kid. I was not able to go outside with him. I was never able to go to the park with him. I couldn't lift anything or screw anything into the wall. And now I'm like, how are you gonna function, And people were telling me you need to go on disability. And I was like, I'm not disabled. I have to figure this out. I was wearing ice vests. I walked around with a bottle of ice water and a fan everywhere I went. I was trying to force myself to sweat. I thought maybe I had cholinergic urticaria. Went down that whole route with doctors, got shots in my arms. I started at 1 shot, ended up with 4 shots. Nothing was working. Somehow, I was able to work. I worked 2 jobs in 2021. I was so scared to tell the first job what was going on, but when I finally told them and told the director was like, whatever you need is what we're gonna do. And that gave me the confidence to tell the second job, and they responded in kind. So I got through those work experiences, not pain-free at all, but I got through them. So let's just go ahead and pause right there, and we'll pick up part 3, the final part, next week. But I learned a lot about myself during that time. That pain was so intense, and there were things that I definitely thought that I just could not do, that I found the will to do despite what was happening to me. And I think that was the biggest gift, that even when you think you can't go any further and you are going to give up, that there is something inside of you. All of the things that you have deposited in yourself throughout the years, they come to the surface and they help you get through those times. So that's what I've learned. And that's what pushing forward and thriving is all about. It's reaching your limit, or what you think is your limit, and finding the will to push past it, not allowing anything to stop me permanently. It might stop me for a minute, it might stop you for a minute, but if you pick yourself back up and you push forward, then you are winning, you are thriving. Until next week, thrive on, everybody, and I will see you next week with part 3, the final part of this health journey, and that will catch you up basically to where I am now, which is living a strong and healthy life. And I wish the same for all of you. See you soon. Peace.